everybody, this is Darren Redmond for another edition of Redmond's Wrap-Up here on FHT Sports. It is Thursday, May 3rd, sort of the eve of the weekend, if you like to look at things that way, and some people do. First thing I'm going to talk about is, what were you doing at 9:30 this morning? Well, if you were with the Fresno Grizzlies, you were playing baseball. They had a doubleheader this morning, today, and they split that doubleheader. Armenteros in the first game threw a very neat, tidy game, 7-5 victory. Fernandez with a 3-run home run. They left 5 people on base in the first game, but you never really felt like the game was in doubt. And one thing to remember, in AAA, when you have a doubleheader, they are 7-inning ball games. So both of these games were only 7 innings. In the second game, the Grizzlies were on the short side of the affair. They lost 4-2. Hochschild falls to 2-3 on the year. Tucker with a stolen base, and in the middle innings, the Salt Lake Bees scored a couple of runs, scored 3 runs, 1 inning, I think 1 run in the next frame, just to kind of put some distance, and Fresno was not able to come back. But may the force be with you, because the first place Fresno Grizzlies coming home tomorrow night. And if you could find a ticket somewhere, I don't know, ask Darth Vader, maybe Luke Skywalker, maybe a Wookiee, who knows, because tickets may be hard to come by. It's going to be packed house. Make sure you're there. Then games on Cinco de Mayo as well throughout the weekend. Great homestand against the River Cats. Make sure you watch the Fresno Grizzlies in person. They are in first place by a comfortable margin. Things just keep getting better, even coming off of the doubleheader split today. 2 other things I want to talk about. We had 2 retirements today. First, Jason Witten, 15-year career, retires at the age of 35, 4th leading player in receptions in NFL history, trailing just Jerry Rice, Tony Gonzalez, and Larry Fitzgerald. Not bad company to be in. People may say, well, he didn't win a lot in the playoffs, he didn't win a lot of Super Bowls or any Super Bowls, but remember, he plays a team sport, not an individual sport, and at the Hall of Fame, you go in for your individual accomplishments as a member of a team. So there are other things there that caused him not to win any Super Bowls. Dick Butkus never won a Super Bowl. He was maybe one of the greatest middle linebackers of all time. So when I hear that, I just kind of roll my eyes a little bit respectfully. He had 68 touchdowns overall during his 15-year career. He wore that Dallas star with pride. You look at him on the field, you think of people like Tony Dorsett, Too Tall Jones, Roger Staubach. He was a throwback to that era. And so is Jason Witten going to get in the first round of Hall of Fame selecting? I don't know. I don't care, quite frankly. Does that really matter? At the end of the day, do you get into the Hall of Fame or you don't? The only time that really bothered me was recently. I always thought Ken Stabler should have been in the Hall of Fame. He did some incredible things, and he didn't get in until after he passed. He went home to his reward. I would have liked to have seen him get into the Hall of Fame while he was alive. But if Jason Witten should get into the Hall of Fame. I look at him as a Hall of Famer. He just was. You had to protect. You had to put your defensive game plan around Jason Witten every time you played him. I want to talk a little bit about Ichiro Suzuki. He also retired today. The man had over 3,000 hits. And I remember when he first came over, people like, oh, all right, he did some good stuff in Japan, but this is the major leagues. He's not going to be able to emulate that. And in fact, he was even better in the major leagues. And he was darn good in Japan. And he didn't get here until he was 27. He's 44 now. Probably in better shape than most 18, 19-year-olds. The man just eats right, stretches, has his own regime of what he does to take care of his body. And over 3,000 hits. 311 lifetime batting average in the major leagues. And an ambassador for the game of baseball. Remember, baseball is a game without a clock. Stop trying to rush it. But this man was an ambassador. He brought together the major league teams. He wore the Yankee pinstripes with pride. He wore the uniform of the Marlins with pride. And of course, his home. He'll always be known as the Seattle Mariner. And then what he did in Japan and throughout the world. Just some incredible stuff. And just a wonderful ambassador for the sport. And a great player. And it's great to hear that he's going to stay with the Mariners in the front office. And, the world needs more Suzukis in the world. And so we wish the best to Jason Witten, Ichiro Suzuki, And happy retirement to the both of you. Thank you for giving us sports fans a lot of joy and pleasure. Remember to watch Serge the Hockey Guru tonight. Big games coming up, as you know, in the NHL. Uncle Tony will comment, I'm sure, as well. And make sure you hit that like button, that share button, and everything else. This is Darren Redmond from FHT Sports, signing off.